Morning, everyone. Welcome to the November 16th, 2023, 9 a.m. regular planning board meeting here in Town Council chambers. Meeting will come to order. Seeing we have a quorum, could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Does any member of the planning board have a conflict of interest or the appearance of a conflict of interest with regard to any item on the agenda? If so, please state so at this time. Sybil? Jerry?
I do not.
And I do not either. We have a draft agenda before us. Does anybody have any suggestions for amending the draft agenda?
I do not.
Okay, if not, can I entertain a motion to accept the agenda?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we have public comments on agenda items only. There are public comments at the end of the meeting on any topics that have to do with the planning board, but anybody have a comment on the agenda item before us today? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move forward for item number 4, consideration of approval of the minutes for our September 21st, 2023 regular planning board meeting. Katie had already sent them to me prior, and I had tweaked a couple words, and she made the revisions. I'm satisfied with the minutes as they are. Any comments or suggested changes?
No.
Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept the minutes as is for September 21st, 2023 regular planning board meeting.
Go so move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on to, there is no old business, so we'll move directly on to new business, which is rezoning request. Chad, if you could give us some background on that, please.
Zoning map amendment, zoning map amendment, case 2023-02. Sheila McLean, the applicant on behalf of the LLC owner, requesting the approval of a general zoning map amendment for one tract totaling approximately 2.57 acres from Mainland Residential 3 MR3 to Mainland Business District 1 MB1. The subject property is located along Highway 904 Seaside Road, adjacent to the intersection of Highway 904 and Channel 2 Southwest, approximately 1,000 feet from the intersection of NC 904 and Old Georgetown Road. The subject property may be further identified by Brunswick County parcel that's listed there. The existing zoning in the area, the existing zoning on the subject parcel is Mainland Residential 3, also known as the MR3 zoning district. The subject parcel is bordered by an additional MR3 zoning district to the south and the west, and the north and east adjacent properties are jurisdiction of Brunswick County in zones COR 7500 and COR 6000. Mainland Residential 3, primary for residential development with provisions for single family and multifamily development and customary and secondary uses. Mainland Business District 1, which is what the applicant is requesting the property be rezoned to, is primary for the conduct of retail trade and provisions for retail service type establishments with provisions for residential uses and convenience type retail trade and establishment. The 2017 land use plan guidance, land use plan classifies the existing tract as mixed use. I want to clarify that this is a future land use map classification of mixed use. We can use this as a guide to the zoning map amendment. The 2023 Town of Sunset Beach Unified Development Ordinance Compliance, Section 2.16 of the UDO provides the standards and shall be followed by the Planning Board and Town Council before a favorable recommendation can be made and a final decision can be made. You also have in the next section Planning Board recommendation criteria for zoning map amendments that can be used as a guide in your decision today. So the applicant is here. I am also available if you need to ask any direct questions to me.
Katie, one thing, I don't know if you picked specifically up on what Chad just said, on packet page number 8, upper left, right, the first sentence. I believe the second word in after the word "the" should say future land use classification, so that the record is clear that we're not talking about an existing classification for that area. But I've got some specific questions. Any comments that the
Yeah.
planning board would like to make regarding this?
Not this time.
Sybil, anything
No.
before we talk with the applicant?
No.
Applicant present? Okay, if you could come to the microphone, please. And we promise we won't bite,
Well, I've been bitten before and I can bite back.
okay? Talk into the microphone, please, because it goes on the record. Ellen, are you picking her up?
Welcome,
Okay, thank you. We can
board
hear you.
members.
We can hear you good. What is your name, please?
Good morning. My name is Sheila McLam. I am the applicant, and I'm here on behalf of New Purpose LLC, which is a single-member LLC. I'm the member manager. And if I may, make a presentation.
Okay, sure. Is that okay with the rest of the planning board?
Absolutely.
So I would like to tell you a little bit about myself and why I think I'm uniquely qualified to develop this property that I've asked for the rezoning classification from basically residential to business. I'm a native of Brunswick County. I've lived here my whole life, with the exception of when I went away for education. After I graduated from law school, I moved back here, and I've lived here ever since. When I moved here after law school, I built what I lovingly refer to as my starter home at Sunset Beach. I surprised myself and lived there for 20 years. I have plans to build again at Sunset Beach and hope to be moving back here within 2 years. And I'd move here sooner, except the builder's pretty busy. So I've practiced law in Brunswick County for 40 years. A good part of my practice was concentrated in real estate. I represented buyers and sellers, and I represented developers. I've also been a real estate developer for nearly 30 years. I've developed 2 golf courses within the county, multiple subdivisions. I've enjoyed that, and I think I've been a good steward of the resources that we've been given. I love Sunset Beach. I've always considered it home, and I look forward to moving back here. The area that we're talking about with the current classification could be developed as residential. If I developed it as residential, I could, under your ordinances, have 7 lots there. The lots would be entitled each to have a driveway. More than likely, they would share a driveway. Now, with having 7 lots there, that would equal 4 driveways. I don't think that would be a good development there with individual driveways and people coming and going from their homes. Also, we already have an overwhelming amount of residential properties within the town and nearby. I think what we need now is services to serve the residents of Sunset Beach and the surrounding areas. If it were developed as the MB1, which I have asked for, I think controlled entry and exit could be managed in the developmental plan. DOT obviously would have a say in what will be permitted as far as entry and exit off of 904. And I think that they would want controlled access and exit. I think the reclassification that I've asked for to MB1 is consistent with the future land use plan. If you look at your map that's been provided in the packet, you'll see.
Sheila, as a point, I agree. Just trying to save you some.
Okay, well, the map does show mixed use,
Yes.
and that's what I'm asking for. So I think it is consistent with the plan. Bear with me and I'll find the page I'm looking for. Also, if you look at the map that's been provided in the plan, my survey plat, which is entitled Rezoning Plan for New Purpose LLC. Does everybody have that in front of them?
Yes, we do. It's part of our packet. Yes.
Okay, so you see the property that is the subject property, the 2.57 acres. That's what I'm asking to be reclassified, which is in your ETJ. If you look to the north of that, you have a 3.34 acre parcel, which is in the jurisdiction of, Brunswick County. Its existing zoning is commercial low density, which is a commercial development permitted by the county. So even though you have, as Planner Chad pointed out, to the north, immediately bounding the subject property, there is a residential. But in fact, on the ground, that is the driveway or the street going into Sea Village subdivision. So really, the adjoining parcel that is important in this case is the 3.34 acre, which has been permitted by the county to be commercial low density. So we already have commercial development in that area as I move forward with my developmental plans. So it's consistent with the surrounding zoning as well.
Can I ask a question, please,
Certainly.
along that line? And I agree with what you've said, basically what you've said, and we're all very familiar with our land use plan, future classifications, and it is our forefathers here back in 2017 thought it was an appropriate use to change to mixed use from MR3 residential. In the lower, I'll call it the lower right-hand corner of your it's more of a rectangle as your site. There's a long horizontal piece that I have is number 227-3A151, and it's a long, really a setback from the homes that are back there on Channel 2 and Marker Road. But you have not included that in your packet here for consideration of changing that from MR3 to MB1.
No, all of that is under the parcel number 155.
Mhm.
It has been, that's what you're calling that sliver, has been recombined with 155. So
Well, the
it
county
is,
doesn't recognize that as of this morning, but
yes, they do. I've spoken with the director of GIS, and it has been recombined.
okay. I can only say I looked this morning and it was not on the county records because I
Well,
looked a
it
couple of
should
times.
be, and I've looked at it myself, and I've also spoken with Gina, who is the director of GIS. And when I submitted my initial survey, which this has been changed slightly to show the rezoning, but if you look at the record, it's
Yeah, I'm looking at the tax record right here, not your document, but it's
well, I was going to say, I'm trying to think of where the map was recorded. And the map, when the map was originally done by my surveyor, the 3.34 was parcel A, the 2.57 was parcel B, and then to the east of parcel A was another sliver,
Mhm.
and that was parcel C, and then the one you're referring to was parcel D. And the map itself stated that they would be recombined
are you
into
looking
A and B.
to have that sliver reclassified, the part that's within the town, because the part that's in the county we have no
Yes, sir,
jurisdiction
I
over.
understand.
But are you also talking about not only the 2.57 acres, but the additional sliver of whatever size that would be to also be included in the rezoning to MB1?
I'm requesting that all of that be reclassified as MB1, and maybe this is a little bit misleading, and maybe I should have asked my surveyor to remove that line, but the 2.57 is the total acreage of 1.55, and the one immediately to the east was a different parcel number, and I don't remember now what it was.
151.
151, okay. 151 has been recombined into 155.
Chad, does that agree with your records? It doesn't with mine. But, and I don't know that this is a point that is pertinent necessarily to this hearing, or it's not a hearing, but your application presentation. But if we do not include that in the language from this board, then that area of 2273A151, the portion that's within the town ETJ limits, would not be included. But I'm going to submit that I think that it may be, it may not matter, because that area is really a drainage ditch.
It matters to me.
Okay.
And, if there's any reservation on your part that the 155 does not include both those pieces, then I would ask for a recess and let me go get the evidence to show that it does. Because I know it was.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, can I see your piece of paper?
Sure.
But it is important to me that all of this.
Well, that's why I asked the question,
Yes,
because
sir.
it was a looming question that I had, because I could see you have ownership of that.
Mhm.
And so I was saying maybe you really wanted an L-shaped review here, as opposed to just the main rectangle that's taller than wide, that was adjacent to Seaside Road.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I have two questions. Ms. McLam, are you familiar? So you have two properties there. You have 227-3A155, right? Then you have part that Mr. Chairman Larkin is looking at, as well as 227-3A151.
And both are owned by Oceanside
All right.
Corporation.
All right. So
No,
those are
they're not owned by Oceanside Corporation.
Well, that's what the tax record
Right.
shows.
Hold on.
Yeah, I
Okay.
bought it from Oceanside Corporation and placed it into the New Purpose LLC. So Oceanside was the prior owner. The tax office hadn't called up yet, they
Okay.
haven't changed their
Okay,
records
I
yet.
accept that.
But it is important to me to know that we are reclassifying all of what I own within the town limits. And my recollection of my survey, the 2.57 includes what at one time was two discrete parcels, but at the time of recording my deed, the 151 was to be recombined into 155. And as best I know, that's the way it exists on the GIS.
all right. So we have a couple things here, Mr. Chairman. The applicant has submitted an application for the rezoning of 227-3A155 only. All right. If she is looking to rezone additional parcels other than 227-3A155, we either need to move,
151,
hold on.
excuse me.
Either move forward with just the rezoning of the 155, or this application and rezoning process needs to start completely over.
May I-
Because, and the reason why I say that, if you look at your application that is submitted by the applicant in your agenda packet, the only property identification number
It's
that was
55.
listed on there was 227-3A155.
I'm looking at the Brunswick County map right now. I want to see if the section of 55 is 2.57 acres. Because if they have not combined it and enlarged it, it would be a different. And you may be absolutely correct that maybe the paperwork hasn't caught up with this. But I found in the past that as soon as within 48 hours of going to settlement on a property, that the county logs that in to their GIS system.
Well, let's be sure that we know, because the reason I did the 155 only was because, as best I could determine from GIS, looking at GIS and talking to Gina, the director of GIS, that the 151 had been recombined into 155. Therefore,
I'm glad I brought it
that-
up then.
That part
It's-
of 151 no longer exists. Now, the parcel number 151 does still exist, but it is a set of ditches that go through the subdivision of Sea Village.
That's what
And
I
I cut
addressed,
my
yes.
boundary line off to not take in those ditches that went into Sea Village subdivision under that parcel 151.
But I also will state that the survey that was submitted by the applicant does not reflect 151 either.
Right, correct, it does not. I agree. Bear with me 1 second, and I'll be able to tap on it.
Are you looking at GIS?
Yes, I am now.
That's the effect.
It shows it as 2.57 acres, just that piece of property that fronts onto Seaside Road. In the southeast corner, that longer area, which is 151, is not a part of the 2.57. So the
The 151, where I cut my boundary off, was recombined into 155.
it doesn't show that on the map.
Mr.
That's all
Chair.
I
The
can say.
Can we
2.57.
recess?
Yes. Can we take how long?
15.
15? We're going to take a 15-minute recess so that the planning director can research this a little bit. Is that
Can I
acceptable
come
to you?
with- Yeah, oh,
The applicant-
absolutely. I
it's-
think we
this is
should
your
get
show.
it straight for
Okay.
everybody's
We're going to take a
sake.
15-minute recess. We'll
Oh,
We will resume. And applicant, thank you for being patient with us, but it's important that we get these details right, or else the things that we would vote on today and approve could come up for reconsideration later. So we want to make sure it's right for your position here.
I
Mr.
totally
Chairman,
agree with you.
Yeah, if Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'm going to enter this into the record. This is a handout. If you'll take one, pass it down.
Is the applicant aware of this?
Yes, she has a copy as well.
Oh,
So I
this is
wanted to
mine.
make, yeah, so this is what Mr. Larkin had on his desk. I made a copy. I just went and reviewed the GIS with the applicant during our recess and clarified all this. So this is an accurate depiction of what GIS looks like. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 parcels that are looking to come into play here. So we'll start at the top, the 227-3A152 and the 227-3A15101, which are right next to each other, are not included.
Correct.
into
That's
this.
a part of the
Right.
POA for the housing development that's behind it.
Correct. Now, the parcel and site that is being considered here is 227-3A155. That is the 2.57 acres as shown on the survey and in the staff report. The one is coming into question, and clearing this up, and the applicant can clarify as what I'm saying is true. 227-3A151 is not to be included in today's rezoning consideration. And I think the applicant was confused as talking to her during the recess that she is not looking to include 227-3A151 as part of this
Okay,
application.
and that was
either.
my initial question.
Yes, and I think somehow it was said yes.
Mhm.
That's where I raised eyebrows, because that wasn't part of this. And if that needs to be considered part of this, then we have
to
not.
consider it.
We have to consider it. We have to advertise. We have to notify and stuff like that. And that has not been done for 227-3A151. However, that is not being considered. We're only considering the 2.57 acres that originally was come through on the application. And I'll
Okay.
ask Miss McGlam to verify everything I've just said.
Is that your understanding as well?
That is correct.
Okay.
As the applicant, I would say my application for the reclassification is for the 2.57 acres. That is parcel number 227-3A155.
That was my initial question that started this all. So thank you for saying, no, it is not a part of this consideration. Appreciate it.
Do you have any other questions? May I continue? Unless there are
Yes,
other
but yes, and please, this is your show, but I think you're going to find support.
Great. So for the reclassification to MB1, I would say that classification is the highest and best use of the subject property. It would increase the tax base for the town. Any businesses or development that I place within that parcel that generates sales tax, the sales tax would be paid into the state that's generated from that parcel development. Then the state would be distributing it back to the town on a per capita basis.
Can I ask a question? And I'm going to ask the question of Chad. Real estate taxes from ETJs do not come to the town.
That is a question that I would have to defer to our finance director.
I'm pretty sure that is the case.
Yeah.
They do not pay Sunset Beach taxes. They pay
Yeah.
county, state, MVA, fire fees, but they do not pay a 16 cents per $100 of valuation to the town of Sunset Beach, because they don't get any services from the town of Sunset Beach.
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, you probably don't know my second question, which is that if a commercial property is set up in an ETJ, does the town benefit from the sales taxes?
I do not. I would have to defer that to our
I would
finance director.
suspect we don't.
Yeah.
Because the only reason for an ETJ, in my understanding, is so that you can control the gateway into your town from the look, the feel, setbacks, lot sizes, but that you do not gain financial, because the people did not request to be part of your ETJ.
Yeah, I'm not
But,
sure.
okay,
It is my understanding that you would benefit from the sales tax generated from businesses located on this parcel.
okay.
That is
We'll-
my understanding.
we'll take that up, yes.
And of course you do your own research, but I have someone that I respect a lot who is a town administrator, and he and I have talked about this, and he has told me that the town would benefit from the generation of sales tax because it's paid into the state and then it's distributed back to the town based on per capita number of residences within
Talk
the
into the
town.
mic so people can hear you on YouTube. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So that is my position, that the town would benefit from the increased tax
Okay.
revenue. Two, it's important that this rapidly growing residential population have services for their benefit, and my development would provide services. My development also would provide employment opportunities for the people that live in the town as well as the surrounding areas. So increased employment would be a benefit to the community. And the development would also bring new businesses to the residents of the town and the surrounding population, which is important to have a thriving community. So the town and its residents would benefit by this reclassification, and I would respectfully request that you approve the reclassification to MB1. Thank you, and I'm here for any questions if there are any remaining.
Planning board members, do you have any questions directly for the applicant?
I do not.
Do not.
Chad, do you have anything else to add to this?
No, sir. If you have any, the board has any questions, I'm here as well.
I've asked the questions that I had. Thank you.
Thank you for your time today.
Mr. Chair, if I may, just real quick, I'll point out that you are looking to make a recommendation to send to council on this, and there will need to be voted on a consistency statement along with this as well.
Yes. Is there a consistency statement in our packet?
Yes, sir.
Yes, there is.
Discussion.
Pete, since it falls under the land use plan 2017, I don't have any issues with it.
Sybil?
I think it's needed with the residential that's going on in this whole county, but also an awful lot here. We do need services.
I would tend to agree, particularly in the light of our map number 9.1 future land use plan of 2017, where that area, the whole area all along Seaside Road was projected as being future use of mixed use. And that's basically what the applicant is applying for here. As far as what the applicant made comments about access and egress, that's really outside of our purview because it's access and egress off of a state road, which is 904 Seaside Road. So we would not enter into that. I would suspect that the state would say that a frontage road would be necessary if it was going to be subdivided.
And I know you've spoke on this in the past, that we'll have to, commercially, anything will have to go through TRC process as well.
Yes,
So,
yes. Our technical review committee, which is fire, DPW, police. And then access off of Channel Drive, or whatever that road is called there, that would have to be an agreement through, because they'd be passing through the POA property, which they do not own. So that would be something outside of our purview.
yes.
All right. I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept the application as presented for the rezoning of the 2.57 acres.
And you're making a motion to recommend approval?
I'll make that motion, yes.
Thank you.
For the Brunswick County parcel ID number 227-3A155, again, 2.57 acres, to change the zoning from residential district MR3 to mainland business district MB1.
I so moved.
Okay, a
I
second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then the consistency statement.
Okay. Let me get to that, please, because
Yes, sir.
I don't have it memorized.
You don't?
Wow.
I'm going to read the consistency statement A, which is the planning board hereby recommends approval for the proposed rezoning request, rezoning map amendment, and finds that it is neither consistent or inconsistent with the town's comprehensive 2017 Town of Sunset Beach Land Use Plan, as there are, I'm going to pull that back. I was reading the wrong one. Would you guys bear with me? I would like to pick, no, it's recommending approval. I was right. Excuse me.
Yes.
I apologize. Katie, I apologize for that. I'll continue reading where I left off, as there are conflicting policies that relate to various aspects of the proposed rezoning request within the comprehensive plan. Can I have a second?
I second it.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry for that, guys. All right. In our agenda, we, Chad, do you want to discuss the, under new business number 2, the December meeting?
Yes, sir.
Scheduling for the planning board.
We, as of right now, I don't anticipate us having anything to meet on in December.
Okay.
We just need to officially cancel that meeting and sign a meeting. So just to make it official.
Does anybody have any issues with canceling the December 21st, 2023
I do
planning board
not.
meeting?
I did.
Do we need a motion for that, or can it just
Yes.
be?
I so move that we cancel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, now we're into public comments, please. 3 minutes, no deliberation with the board, but 3 minutes on any topic that would be of planning board interest. Please come to the microphone. State your name and address, please.
My name is Barbara Taylor. I live at 7125 Channel 1 Southwest in Ocean Isle Beach, which Miss McLam knows full well the land she's talking about is under Ocean Isle Beach's ETJ,
Please address the board, but thank you.
not yours.
Okay.
We bought land on Marketplace years ago. Miss McLam was the closing attorney on it. She knows full well that land is not part of Sunset Beach. It is, in fact, part of Ocean Isle Beach's ETJ, adjudicated only by Brunswick County. The so-called ditch you were talking about is no such thing. It is a named stream on a topographical map. And if any of you bothered to check topographical maps, you would know that. Miss McLam has absolutely no business putting stores in front of our development without asking us first, which she did not bother to do. I think your planning board is absolutely disgusting. You're not taking into the environmental issues about this. There's very big trees there that suck up water in major hurricanes. Part of that land is a natural watershed, which Mr. Chad over here should know. And it's not to be disturbed, or our land will flood. And I don't think any of you are going to pay for that damage, are you? You need to reconsider this and go and walk on that land before you make decisions about it. And look at what's behind it and around it. You can't just make arbitrarily decisions that affect a whole community without you talking to that community first, which none of you bothered to do, and nor has Miss McLam. No disrespect intended. So think about this and go walk on that land, see what's there, and then think about what you're doing. I thank you for your time, and please reconsider this.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Any other, please, any other public comments regarding anything to do with the planning board? Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Joe Costine, 217 Clubhouse Road.
Hi, Joe.
Good morning. Well, whatever happens to the land, I was just interested in the mixed use part here, and I'll just read these couple sentences. However, steps to encourage multimodal travel to these locations is important. Reduced parking requirements, internal circulation patterns, Sidewalks and bicycle facilities should be considered for future development in this use category in an effort to encourage non-motorized travel. To me, that would, if that's what happens there, this would be an opportunity. It's not a good area for running, walking, biking, really, in Sunset Beach. And this would be an opportunity maybe to, I mean, Greenway would be, to me, ideal to connect the park all the way through the stores, Sunset Beach, where people could walk, bike, run, whatever. So I saw this in here, and it's written in there that looking for those kind of opportunities. So this might be a place if it ends up being commercial where we utilize that opportunity. Just an observation.
Good comments. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Board, just for the edification of us, that is something that can be considered when a preliminary plat is brought before the planning board.
Exactly.
Okay, any other public comments? Seeing none, I'd like to entertain a motion that we adjourn.
I so move.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting officially adjourned.